The cafe smelled of roasted coffee and cinnamon, a warm refuge from the December cold outside. Snow fell steadily beyond the large windows, transforming the Chicago street into a scene from a winter postcard. Inside, soft jazz played while people hunched over laptops or chatted quietly. Marcus Donovan sat alone at a corner table, his dark coat and scarf still on despite the warmth. At 43, he'd grown accustomed to solitude. His pharmaceutical company employed thousands. His decisions affected millions. But here, in this anonymous cafe, he was just another person seeking quiet on a Saturday afternoon. He'd been coming here for 3 years, ever since his wife Rachel died. Lymphoma had taken her so quickly, diagnosis to funeral in 8 months. Their daughter would have been 6 now. Would have. The genetic disorder had claimed her at 18 months, before Marcus even understood how to be a father. The cafe had become his sanctuary. No one knew him here. No business cards exchanged, no networking, no condolences. Just coffee, silence, and the comfortable anonymity of a public space. The small voice startled him from his thoughts. "Excuse me, can I sit here?" Marcus looked up. A little girl stood beside his table, perhaps 5 years old, wearing a pale blue dress that seemed too thin for the weather. A pink knitted hat with a pom-pom covered her head, and she clutched a worn teddy bear tightly. Her face was pale, almost translucent, with the particular fragility Marcus recognized immediately from his years in medicine. She was sick. "Very sick. Are you here with your parents?" Marcus asked gently, looking around for an anxious adult. "My aunt is ordering," the girl said, pointing toward the counter where a young woman in her 20s was speaking with the barista. "But all the other tables are full. You have extra chairs." It was true. The cafe was crowded today, people seeking shelter from the cold. "Of course you can sit," Marcus said, his voice softer than usual. The girl climbed into the chair across from him with careful movements, setting her teddy bear on the table. "This is Mr. Patches. He's been with me since I was born." "That's a good friend to have," Marcus said. "He goes everywhere with me, even to the hospital." She said it matter-of-factly, the way only a child who'd spent too much time in hospitals could. Marcus felt something tighten in his chest. "Are you visiting doctors today?" The girl nodded. "We had an appointment this morning. Aunt Sarah brought me to the city for tests. The doctors here are special. They know about my kind of sick." "What's your name?" Marcus asked. "Lily. What's yours?" "Marcus. That's a strong name," Lily said seriously. "Like a superhero." Despite everything, Marcus smiled. "I don't know about that." Lily's aunt arrived with a tray. Hot chocolate for Lily, coffee for herself. She looked exhausted, worry etched into every feature. When she saw Lily at Marcus's table, concern flashed across her face. "Lily, you can't just bother strangers." "She's not bothering me," Marcus said quickly. "Your niece asked very politely if she could sit. The cafe is crowded." The woman, Sarah, as Lily had called her, looked relieved but still uncertain. "Are you sure? We can find somewhere else." "Please, stay," Marcus said, gesturing to the empty chairs. "There's plenty of room." Sarah sat down gratefully, wrapping her hands around her coffee cup like it was a lifeline. Marcus noticed the hospital bracelet on Lily's thin wrist, the port visible at her collarbone where her dress collar didn't quite cover it. Lily sipped her hot chocolate carefully, leaving a small foam mustache that made her giggle. "Do I look funny?" "Very distinguished," Marcus said, surprising himself with the ease of his response. He'd forgotten how to talk to children. Had tried to forget, really. It hurt less. "What's distinguished mean?" Lily asked. "It means you look very important and serious." Lily considered this. "I am important. Aunt Sarah says I'm the most important person in the world." Sarah's eyes filled with tears. She quickly blinked away. "That's right, sweetie." Marcus understood. He understood too well. This child, this bright, curious little girl, was sick with something serious. Her aunt loved her desperately and was probably terrified of losing her. "What do you do, Marcus?" Lily asked, swinging her legs under the table. I help make medicines, Marcus said, which was technically true if simplified. Oh, maybe you make my medicine. Lily's face lit up. I take lots of medicines. Some taste yucky, but some are okay. What kind of medicine do you take? Marcus asked carefully. Sarah intervened gently. Lily has leukemia. She's been in treatment for 2 years. Marcus felt the familiar weight settle over him. Leukemia. His daughter had died from a genetic disorder, not cancer, but the hospitals had been the same. The tests, the procedures, the desperate hope followed by crushing disappointment. The doctors today said the treatment isn't working as well as they hoped, Sarah said quietly, clearly needing to tell someone, even a stranger. They want to try a new protocol, experimental. There's a company developing something promising, but it's not approved yet. We're trying to get Lily into a trial. Marcus's mind was already racing. Experimental leukemia treatments. He knew every pharmaceutical company working in oncology, knew their pipelines, their trials. Which company? Something called Donovan Pharmaceuticals, Sarah said. But the wait list is long. Hundreds of kids waiting. We applied 3 months ago, but... She trailed off, the hopelessness evident. Marcus went very still. Donovan Pharmaceuticals. His company. He'd launched the pediatric leukemia program 4 years ago after losing Rachel. He'd poured millions into research, hired the best scientists, pushed for accelerated development. It had been his way of fighting back against the diseases that had stolen his family. The trial Sarah mentioned, he'd approved its expansion just last month. But she was right. The demand far exceeded the available slots. They could only take so many patients safely. Lily, Marcus said gently, would you do me a favor? Would you draw me a picture? I think there are crayons at the counter. Lily brightened. What should I draw? Whatever you'd like. Surprise me. As Lily went to get supplies, Marcus leaned forward. Sarah, I need to tell you something. My full name is Marcus Donovan. I own Donovan Pharmaceuticals. Sarah's face went white. But why didn't you? Because I'm just a man having coffee, Marcus said quietly. Or I was, until a brave little girl asked to sit at my table. He pulled out his phone. I'm going to make some calls. Lily will have a spot in that trial, starting Monday if possible. We can't afford, Sarah began, tears streaming now. There's no cost. The trial covers everything, and even if there were, I'd handle it. Marcus looked out at the falling snow. I lost my daughter. She was 18 months old, and my wife 3 years ago. I started this research because I couldn't save them, but maybe I can help save Lily. Sarah couldn't speak, her hands covering her mouth. Lily returned with paper and crayons, completely unaware of what had just transpired. She drew while humming softly, occasionally showing Marcus her progress, a house, a family, a son that took up half the page. This is you, she said, pointing to a tall figure. And this is me and Mr. Patches. We're friends now. Marcus looked at the simple drawing, this child's innocent acceptance of connection, and felt something break open inside him. He'd closed himself off after losing his family, believing that distance was safer than attachment. But here was this little girl, facing something terrifying, still brave enough to ask a stranger if she could sit down, still brave enough to make friends. Over the next months, Marcus followed Lily's progress closely. The treatment was working, slowly, carefully, but working. He visited her in the hospital, brought books and puzzles, sat with Sarah during the long hours of infusions and recovery. Lily taught him to be open again, to risk caring, to remember that life, however fragile, was worth fighting for. 2 years later, Lily's scans came back clear. Remission. The word everyone had been afraid to hope for. At the celebration, Lily presented Marcus with a drawing, an update of that first cafe sketch. But this time, there were more people. Sarah, the doctors, nurses, and in the center, Lily and Marcus, holding hands. You're my superhero, Lily said, hugging him, just like I said. But Marcus knew the truth. This little girl in her pink hat, brave enough to ask a stranger a simple question, had saved him just as much as his medicine had helped save her. Sometimes healing works both ways. Sometimes the person you help ends up helping you right back. And sometimes all it takes is one small voice asking one simple question to remind us what we're living for. Years later, Marcus would fund a foundation in Lily's name, ensuring no child would be turned away from treatment due to wait lists or costs. He'd never forget the day a sick little girl asked if she could sit at his table, and in doing so, gave him back his purpose. Because that's what children do. They ask simple questions that contain profound wisdom. Can I sit here? Can we be friends? Can you help? And if we're lucky enough, if we're paying attention, we realize the answer is always yes.